History 14. Alexandria's Forgotten Library. In the early centuries of Alexandria, under the rule of Ptolemy I, and especially his successor, Ptolemy II, a dream was born: to gather all the wisdom of the world in one place. Around 295 BCE, the Mouseion was founded, a great research center dedicated to learning, and beside it rose the royal library. This was not a private collection for kings, but a state-sponsored project, open to scholars who traveled from many lands. It was the first great research campus in history, a place where poetry, science, philosophy, and history were carefully preserved, setting a standard that later universities and libraries would follow. The ambition of the Ptolemies knew no limits. By the mid-3rd century BCE, they sought to collect every book from every land. Ships docking at Alexandria were searched, and their manuscripts copied for the library's shelves. Scholars like Zenodotus, the first chief librarian, and Callimachus, who created the massive Pinakes catalog, organized this treasure trove with pioneering methods. It was one of the earliest attempts at systematic bibliography, and the work of cataloging thousands upon thousands of scrolls helped shape the very way humanity organizes and understands knowledge. But the library grew too large for a single home. During the reign of Ptolemy III, a daughter library was established in the Serapeum, a temple complex in another part of the city. This extension ensured that the overflow of books would still be preserved and studied. Alexandria thus became a true city of libraries, where knowledge was spread across multiple sites. For scholars and travelers, this meant greater access to wisdom and a broader reach for the ideas of Greece, Egypt, India, Mesopotamia, and beyond, all converging in one cosmopolitan hub. Yet such treasures were vulnerable to the fires of war. In 48 BCE, during Julius Caesar's siege of Alexandria, flames spread from the harbor docks into nearby storage houses. Ancient writers disagreed on the scale of destruction. Some claimed the royal library itself was consumed, while others believed only warehouses holding books for export were lost. Regardless of the exact details, this event marked the first great blow to the collection, reminding the world how fragile human knowledge could be when caught in the violence of empires. Despite the fire, the library did not vanish overnight. Around 20 BCE, the geographer Strabo visited Alexandria and described the Mouseion, suggesting that at least parts of the institution had survived or been restored. For a time, scholars still gathered there, reading and debating as before. But the coming centuries brought new storms. In the 270s CE, the Roman Emperor Aurelian fought to reclaim Alexandria from Palmyrene control. In his campaign, the Brucheion, the royal quarter where the library once stood, was devastated. If any central buildings or collections remained, they were likely lost in those flames. The destruction did not end there. In 297 CE, another Roman emperor, Diocletian, laid siege to Alexandria to crush a rebellion. His sack of the city caused further devastation in the same district that had already suffered under Aurelian. Each wave of violence chipped away at the scholarly heart of the city, eroding what was left of its ancient treasure houses. The dream of the Ptolemies was crumbling, not in a single cataclysm, but in repeated blows spread across centuries, like a candle slowly burning down to its final ember. The final chapter for the daughter library came in 391 CE. Imperial edicts against pagan worship led Bishop Theophilus to oversee the destruction of the Serapeum, the temple that had housed the overflow collection. With its fall, whatever books had survived within were likely destroyed. Not long after, in 415 CE, the philosopher Hypatia, one of Alexandria's last great teachers, was brutally murdered by a Christian mob. Her death did not destroy the library itself, but it symbolized the eclipse of the city's classical culture and the fading of its once brilliant intellectual light. Centuries later, in 642 CE, a story spread that the Arab conquerors burned the library's books to fuel bathhouse fires. Medieval writers repeated the tale, but modern historians have shown it to be legend, created long after the fact. The truth is more complex and perhaps more tragic. The Library of Alexandria did not fall in a single night of flames, but through centuries of neglect, political upheaval, war, and cultural change. Its loss remains one of history's most haunting reminders of how fragile human knowledge can be, and how easily the treasures of the mind can be scattered to the winds of time.